Hi guys, I'm Lima and welcome to It's a Piece of Cake. In this tutorial today I'm going to show you how to make this really beautiful but very simple Indian kind of bride dress cake. So first we're going to bake our cakes, and I always bake my cakes in my actual mixing bowl. So I spray it with a good quality non-stick cooking spray that you can get from your cake decorating shop, and then bake my cake because it just gives you the perfect dress shape, just all the time perfect. I did make 2 extra cakes in an 8-inch pan, because at first I was going to make a small dress, then later decided to make a bigger dress, so I had to make the extra cakes. But from the start, make yourself one large big cake in your mixing bowl, and then you just need that one cake. But here I've got the 3 pieces which I'm going to stack now. So you're going to use some buttercream or ganache. You're going to put on your board, and you're going to trim some off the cake. So just kind of level it off. If it's level, leave it. If it's not, then just take a bit off so it's nice and flat. And then you're going to put your frosting or buttercream or ganache, whatever you're filling it with, and then you're going to repeat that with the other layer. And again, you're going to cut it off just to level it off a bit. You can use a cake leveler here, but I'm not too worried about it because I know it'll be alright. But if you want to be more on the safe side and have more level, then use a cake leveler. And as you can see on my dress part of my cake, there's a lot of it's not level, so I've got to cut all that off. And then I kind of tried on the cake, but I know a bit more needs to be cut off because it's not straight. So I'm going to cut a bit more off till I get it nice and straight, and then I'm going to use this to stack on top. And like I said, if you make the whole cake in the in the mixing bowl, you don't have to worry about making the other cakes, because you get that beautiful perfect shape with that mixing bowl. So all you do is cut it up, and I've got a tutorial which I've done that about a year ago. I'll put in the link in the description box below so you can watch that as well, just to get an idea of what I'm talking about. But as you can see, I'm just repeating the process and just stacking up all the cakes now. So a bit more frosting. Now this cake is very fresh, so it's really hard to work with. I'd recommend to use a chilled cake. So have your cake in the fridge for about an hour before you use it. That way it's a lot easier to stack and coat and everything. When they're fresh, they move around a lot, so it's a lot more harder. So now I'm just going to give it a nice crumb coat. So you're just going to get your frosting, go around the whole cake just to seal everything together. And then you're going to pop it in the fridge. Ideally, you'd want it in the fridge for about an hour at least. That way it's nice, sturdy and firm, and it's easy to work with. I'm only popping mine in the fridge for about 5 minutes, but I've made dress cakes hundreds of times, so I can work with it. But if you're new to it, I definitely recommend to have it in the fridge for a few hours, just to make it easier on yourself, because then the cake will be firm, and then it's easy to put the fondant and everything on it. So while my cake is in the fridge, I'm just rolling out my red fondant, which I've got some corn flour on the table so it doesn't stick on the table, and then I use a little bit of non-stick cooking spray on the fondant on the top part, because I don't like to use corn flour on red and bright colors because it's hard to get rid of it. So now that I've got my fondant rolled up, I've put over the rolling pin. I'm going to bring my cake over and then just drape it on top of your cake. Now with dress cakes, they're very simple to make, because you're not and this is why I only did the crumb coat, because you're not really smoothing it onto the cake. You just kind of let it drape and fall down, and just kind of let it get its own shape. You don't really have to work much with it. Once you know your whole cake is covered, then you're just going to get a knife and cut off all the excess, and then use your fingers and your hands just to kind of gently go under your fondant and kind of release, like let some air go in and just let it release so it looks like it's gently falling down, and that kind of gives a nice dress look to it. It's just something like that. You can play around with it more if you want, but that's good enough for me. So I've got a doll here. I've removed her legs, and I'm going to mark where I want to put her in. Get a knife, cut that fondant piece out where you're going to put her in, and then you can use here ganache. I'd recommend ganache, or you can use compound chocolate or royal icing to stick her in place, and that will hold her in place. I'm not going to stick her on with anything because I'm not transporting the cake, but if you're transporting it, then just use something to stick that doll in place. So like I said, royal icing, chocolate, ganache will do. So here I'm using a lace mat. This is a silicone lace mat. You cannot see the detail on this red fondant, but it's got this gorgeous, very beautiful lace pattern on it. Then I'm just cutting roughly just a rectangle. I'm adding some water on my doll. So you just use some water on your paintbrush and brush your doll with water so she's nice and wet. And then just add those rectangle pieces, one across the waist, one across her body, and then a thin rectangle around her arms just to make the sleeves. And then for the veil or the scarf, or basically what we're going to do is get fondant, put it into this other mold that I've got, which is a pearl mold, and I'm going to make roughly about 3 pieces. I'm doing one on the left, one on the right, and one kind of in the middle, and that kind of makes it look like she's got this really beautiful scarf around her. Now, for the molds, I'll show you the end of the tutorial where I got them from, and to stick them in place, you can just add some water. So if you want to stick them, well, once you've got them in the position that you want, put some water in a paintbrush and just brush it on and stick them in place, and then that kind of makes it look like it's a scarf. So with I've got a frame mold here, and this is going to be her headpiece. So I'm going to put the mold into the frame. This is the beautiful frame mold, but that's going to be a headpiece. And now I'm going to spray it with some non-stick looking spray and use some gold eatable dust on it. This gold eatable dust you can get from your cake decorating shop. You just brush it on and it makes it immediately turn to this beautiful gold. And I'm going to use a little bit of water on the back and then stick it on her forehead. So it's just like this beautiful jewelry piece on her forehead. Very, very easy to do that. So if you have watched a lot of my tutorials and you know that I do love using molds, and I use them pretty much in all cake decorating, because they do make cake decorating so easy, and you really, if you can work hours and you're not going to get the kind of design that you can get with molds, and I get them really cheap on eBay. So at the end of the video I'll show you which ones I got and where I got them from. But you basically get all your shapes that you want, spray them with some non-stick looking spray, brush them on with gold, and then this part is basically the fun part, because you can really stick them on wherever you want on your dress. You can come up with any design that you like. Just make yourself quite a few pieces, use different molds that you've got. I try and use the molds that I've got and just work around with them. So here I've got this pearl mold on the bottom, which is beautiful because at the bottom of my dress I'm going to use these long pieces of pearls that I'm doing. So I make quite a few of them, brush them on, and then I'm going to stick them with water on the bottom of my dress, which is going to give me that nice finish to them. And then I've got these other 2 fantastic molds. I love this particular mold here. It's an earring mold, but it looks really nice for, you know, you can obviously use it for any form of jewelry. Then I've got this love heart mold, and like I said, just go around, see whatever molds you've got, put them all together, and then you can just play around with the dress, use the ones that you want. You can make more, less. So once you've got all your, basically all the little shapes that you're making, basically with me with mold, is you're going to spray them with non-stick looking spray and repeat the process of brushing them on with some gold dust. Now the gold dust, they're fully eatable. You can get them from your cake decorating shop. I use a particular brand called Rocklam. I love their gold. It's beautiful, it's easy to work with, and it just grabs on really, really quickly. So spray them all and brush on the gold, and then automatically you get that really beautiful vintage antique look. And then attaching them on is very simple. You just wet your fondant with a little bit of a paintbrush and then just start sticking them in and playing around where you want them. So I've used one as a necklace kind of thing, and then I'm just using the pieces that I've made and then deciding where I want them. So it's really, really, really simple, and you can take a long time if you really want to get it nice and detailed. I kind of did this whole cake in less than an hour and a half. So I kind of just stick this is for my daughter just for fun. She just loves the whole Bollywood Indian costumes and songs, and she really wanted a cake like this, so I'm making it for her just for fun. So I'm not obviously going to put that much effort into it. If you want to attach pearls, you can, just a bit of water, press in the back of your paintbrush just to kind of make a little hole for the kind of a dint for the pearls. They stick on nicely that way. That's if you wanted to add pearls on them. So it's very, very, very easy. Now I've got here some gold powder, which I'm mixing and diluting with some rose spirit, and that kind of gives you like a paint texture. And once you've got this paint texture, just kind of brush it on. I'm brushing it on anyway on my pearl bits that I did for her scarf, because it kind of makes it look like that shiny kind of light falling on it. And I kind of brushed on the lace part of her dress as well. This is optional as well if you wanted to, but she loves everything so shiny, so I decided to just brush on that gold powder all around it. So it was just the gold powder with some rose spirit, and it gives you that nice paint texture, and then you've got that kind of, it looks like shiny kind of glittery work. It's a very, very, very simple cake, as you can see. I just used those fondant pieces, coloured them into the gold, and then just stuck them around. And like I said, you know, this is just a very kind of easy, very easy way of doing it. Obviously, if you put more time, you can get it a lot nicer. So on eBay, just type up for lace matte fondant silicone mold, and it'll come up. I absolutely love that lace mold. It is spectacular, and I've used it here on a cake. I made a wedding cake and I used it on the top tier, but you can use it for cupcakes. So much. You can see the detail more on this cake rather than the red, but it's a very gorgeous matte, so I definitely recommend get one of them. And there's so many different designs you can choose from. Here is where I got so just type up something like jewelry mold silicone mold and it should come up. And then again, the Love Heart ones. There's so many designs to choose from. This one I absolutely love. This is called the Gem Diamond Pearl mold. It's fantastic. Then obviously this is the frame which I used as her headpiece. Really gorgeous mold as well, and they're really cheap on eBay, so they're worth spending that kind of money because it helps you, saves you so much time. And that spectacular pearl mold that I used for her scarf, it's over here, and you can use this on wedding cakes as well, and you can change it up so much. Gorgeous, gorgeous mold, that one too. So that was pretty much making it, and my daughter had a really good fun hour admiring her, and she was really excited to cut it. So hope you guys did enjoy this video, and like I said with the dress cake, I will put in the description box below to watch my other tutorial where you can make it without having to make the other cakes in the pan. Thank you so much guys for watching. I've almost hit 5,000 subscribers, and I really want to say thank you to everyone that has shared my work, likes my videos, comments on them. You guys are amazing. Thank you very, very, very much, and I hope you tune in to my next video. Take care and bye for now.